Viddy, congratulations, I guess, finishing over the top to get the win. Could you sum up your side's 90 minutes? It certainly looked like different side in the second half compared to the first one.
Yeah, look, we were playing far too much in our own defensive half in the first half, and we couldn't get out. It was ridiculous, and we weren't active enough, forward-thinking enough. We were very passive. Everything was slow. You know, even basic things like throw-ins. We always allowed the opposition to set up, and yeah, we're good with the ball, but it makes it a lot harder when you've got the whole team behind the ball and you're trying to play through them or around them. So we just had to be a little bit more, or a lot more positive in the second half, and a lot more aggressive too, because we know they're a physical side, especially in midfield. Every time a ball goes into someone's feet in midfield, there's always body contact, there's lots of 50-50s, and we weren't good enough in that first half. And we changed that in the second half. Different mindset again, and more aggressive, more players in the forward area making forward runs, trying to play the ball in behind, and then we started to get a little bit more momentum, and I thought the second half was very good, more like what we do. Unfortunately, it took us 45 minutes to get going.
Well, because that first half, you spoke yesterday about needing to start quickly, and then after the Jets game as well, I know you wouldn't have wanted to see that. I mean, did you get the hairdryer out at half-time? Like, what did you do to elicit the response in the second stanza?
No, look, we keep talking about themselves, self-regulating a lot, and you have to do that because, we have minimal control. We have a lot of control during the course of the week, but we have minimal control on match day. We can make adjustments, we can give quick information, but things are happening so quickly, they have to regulate, they have to adapt, they have to do it on the fly. And it's just not, and to be honest, we have a lot of young players in the team, we know that, but it's also for them to stand up as well. And once you're on the pitch, it doesn't matter if you're 18 or 16 or whatever, it's just not for the senior guys. And I feel sometimes, the kids are just, leaving it for the senior players. It doesn't work like that, If you're good enough, you're young enough, you're good enough, you cross the white line, you have to make an impact all the time. And I think, we've done that at times this year. We've been pretty consistent, to be honest. And again, tonight probably showed a little bit of that as well. How we played in the first half compared to how we played in the second half. And I know we definitely have that in us. And we need to continue this way. We have to. We've got no choice. So, a lot of credit goes to the boys because they bounced back into that second half and got themselves back into the game and just weren't content with the draw. They kept fighting, trying to push for the second one, and then we got that. So that's the mentality that we need.
How's Kai? Obviously couldn't continue.
Kai, I think he's fine. He got a really heavy knock on his knee, and he was just having some difficulties with it, and then he started feeling like a little bit of a numb leg up the thigh, but I just spoke to him then and he said he's absolutely fine.
A bit of relief there.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, because he's an important player for us. He's been, amongst two or three others, been super consistent this year.
And Andy looked like he went straight down the tunnel.
Andy, I think he's probably strained his calf, and it's unfortunate, but it's probably not too. It's probably a little bit typical that once you come back from a long injury like he did, 12 months with a knee injury, that he would always pick something up. Hopefully, we always think, no, it's not going to happen, but it's quite typical once he starts going that something like that could happen. So let's see what it's like. He'll probably have to have a scan tomorrow, and then we'll see what the damage is.
Don't know if I'm sounding too dramatic, but it seemed like you guys were almost playing for your season in the second half. Just given the context, the run, the form heading in the first half, did you sense that sort of desperation? You could sense that from the players. Did it feel like that to you as well?
I don't think tonight regardless of the result, I don't think it was a season-defining game. But yeah, we were absolutely desperate. We needed a win. It's been quite a long time, especially at home. You know, we've given our fans absolutely nothing, to be honest, over this period. You know, we've had a pretty tough year, as we know, but we thought that it's great. You know, we're going to have 6 or so games here at Amy Park and give our fans a little bit of enjoyment. Unfortunately, we haven't given our fans anything. So hopefully tonight they can go home happy and have a nice weekend.
And to do that against not only the ladder leading team, but they only conceded 3 second-half goals all season. You've picked 2 in 12 minutes against them. Does that make it even more pleasing, that result?
Yeah, I don't bother about those things. I'm just pleased that we were able to get a win, because it's been a long time for us, and I think it was an important win, and especially the way we did it in the second half. They're an excellent side, you know. Bimby, he's got them. He's got them cooking in a nice way. They were really consistent last year, becoming premiers, and they're doing the same thing again. You know, they got a really nice age group in that team. You know, physical team. They do the basics very, very well, and they got a lot of dangerous players, and not just going forward, but they have a lot of dangerous players at the back.
And it seemed like Atkinson, Aziz in particular, really were the driving forces in that second half. How did you see their performance?
To be honest, I think Aziz has been one of our most consistent players, and Aziz has been one of our most dangerous players going forward. And Nate tonight was how we know Nate. You know, he was really aggressive going forward, excellent in his 1v1 duels, anticipating balls, gave us a lot of legs. So they were absolutely instrumental, but also thought the guys who came off the bench gave us a lot of energy and gave us some different looks. Benny Mazzeo did really well for us. It was very dangerous going in behind. And then, you know, guys like Ale, Lapane and Lawrence, you know, they're still rusty because they've been away for a long time with injuries. So they're trying to get a little bit of match fitness, and I can see from when they came in 2 games ago to now that they're absolutely improving. So again, they're going to need a little bit of time.
Hey. From a coaching perspective, is that the baseline in terms of performance for the team now, like going forward? You've got a big month ahead, you're not playing at home for a few weeks now. Is that something that you can springboard into the back end of the season? Well,
we've had many games like that this year, to be honest, and I always keep saying that's, you know, that's the level, and then we've had some inconsistencies throughout the course of these 13 or 14 rounds. So we know who we are. We know when we play that type of football like we did in the second half, we're a good team. So, yeah, that's the level, and we need to continue to get better.
Just wanted to ask you about Matt Leckie. He's been out for the majority of the season. I was wondering how far he is from coming back, and with the lead up to the World Cup following this season, is he kind of reaching the point where it's going to be, you think, kind of hard to him to make the cut for that squad, or is that something he's still targeting this season?
The second part of your question, I couldn't answer. All I can tell you is that he had 6 weeks now post-surgery on the hip and feeling very, very well. He had his consultation with the surgeon last week. And he's very happy with it. He was meant to start running next week or this Monday, but they're giving him a little bit more time, another week before he can start running. So, but he's really happy. He's got a lot of range now in that area, in his hip and his hamstrings, that he didn't have before, and that's what was, you know, pulling him back. So he's in a great headspace. The surgery went very well. His rehab so far, 5 weeks, has been excellent. He's doing a lot of work. So the only thing that, you know, we're interested in is that he can start running in week 6 or week 7 in a couple of weeks' time, and start to build his fitness from that point. So what happens past that, who knows? You know, we'd love to have him probably last 4 or 5 games of the season if it's possible, and I think it's probably achievable. But again, it all depends on the next phase of his rehab. But to this point, he's in pretty good shape.
I know you mentioned it before with the long run of home games that you've had. How are you feeling then for the next few weeks in terms of preparation?
I'm happy playing away.
Really, you made the decision to start Ryan in the midfield tonight on debut. I guess, why did you make that decision, and what did you make of his performance?
Well, he's got to start sometime, so I thought, why not tonight? And look, he's only arrived a few days ago. He's had a couple of training sessions with us. He's played bugger all this season, the last 6 months. So you might as well just jump on the bike and start pedalling. And you can see he was rusty. You know, he tried. He obviously got into the game in the second half when we had more ascendancy, and you know, he hasn't even got close to 90 minutes this year, so I think he played 75 minutes or something like that. And I just thought, like, for his first game, you know, I think that's enough. So he'll get better, absolutely. You know, he can now have a whole week of training before getting prepared for the next game. So, and look, he's a quality player. We know that. He's an influential player in the midfield. We've seen that over his last couple of years at Victory. So, you know, I have no doubt that once he gets a little bit of match rhythm, that he's going to be absolutely fine for us.
Just Medden obviously scored the winner tonight. Have you been given any clarity on when that process is going to be determined with FA, or any sort of update? And I guess, how's he doing?
All I know, everything was submitted last week at some time, Wednesday or Thursday, and we haven't heard back yet. So again, still with the FA.